Are you on a quest for abundance? Are you seeking enlightenment? The path to enlightenment doesn't just pass through meditation pillows and yoga mats. Sometimes it starts in the produce aisle. One of the first actionable steps you can take to achieve these goals is to eat high vibrational foods, or foods with strong chi, life force. High vibrational foods are fresh, whole, nutrient-dense foods that contain strong life force energy. These include fruits, vegetables, fermented foods, herbs, and clean proteins. They help raise your energetic frequency and promote physical, emotional, and spiritual health. A high vibrational diet can elevate your frequency and connect you to the universe. There is physical evidence of this through the use of Kirlian photography, or by measuring photon counts per second via photomultiplier tube, PMT for short. Kirlian photography captures the coronal projection of light that is being emitted from an object. A PMT can measure the photons released from an object. Objects with a higher photon count are more energetically active. Our thoughts and actions are derived from electricity. Your brain sends electrical signals to different parts of your body when you want to move them. Naturally, we should fuel ourselves with things that charge us. Think about Thanksgiving. Everything revolves around a carcass and baked and cooked dishes. Despite how much I love my mom's sweet potato casserole, if you're anything like me, you're ready to slip into a food coma shortly after partaking in this yearly buffet. The food itself isn't all bad, but what hurts you is the excessive amounts of it we consume and the calorie-dense additives. This aligns with the lower end of the levels of consciousness chart, apathy and guilt. In a 2003 study by Fritz Albert Popp, it was concluded that food under oxidative stress or undergoing the oxidation process shows an increase in random chaotic biophoton emissions. Antioxidants, in contrast, reduce oxidative stress and stabilize biophoton emissions. Biophotons are weak emissions of light produced by living cells. These light particles reflect a cell's energetic activity and coherence, which can be affected by the food we eat. Tumor cells were also studied and were found to be less coherent in biophoton emissions and had less stabilization capabilities. The study proved that all living organisms emit a low-intensity light that can be seen through UV light and captured in a completely dark environment via long-exposure photography. When food is exposed to light, it experiences excitation, which increases its energy output and emits photons in return. From this point, photooxidation can occur. Keeping food in the dark slows down oxidation. You can also see this in bacterial behavior, as certain types of bacteria and fungi are activated by light. This is why perishables last longer in your refrigerator. Biophoton emissions are also forms of cellular communication. When observing marine plankton, Popp noticed that their emissions would stabilize when in each other's presence. It is suggested that this is a response to a state of achieved harmony when energetic fields between the two organisms are synchronized. It is their consent to exchange information, just as you can spiritually give consent to the universe to receive downloads. If we are what we eat, we should abide by a diet of fresh, whole foods. If you are privileged enough to have access to a spring for water, or you have a backyard to grow a garden, take advantage of these opportunities. Anything you harvest from the earth vibrates at the highest frequency. If you're not sure where to start, here are some sample high vibration meals for every part of the day. For breakfast, you could have an avocado omelet sandwich and a acai smoothie bowl. I like to blend mine with acai smoothie cubes, frozen mixed berries, banana, a splash of coconut milk, and some peanut butter. Top all that with oats and honey granola, sliced strawberries, blackberries, shredded coconut, and add a honey drizzle. Sometimes I like to add a chocolate chia pudding on top of my smoothie bowl. You can make this with 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, half a cup of milk of choice, a teaspoon of honey, and a teaspoon of cacao powder. You can consume animal products. You don't have to convert to veganism to raise your vibration, but sourcing does matter. You'll want to be on the lookout for these labels: grass-fed, pasture-raised, wild-caught, organic, things like that. The treatment of animals does affect the quality of the product you purchase, so these things absolutely matter. Stressed beef is tough meat. Snacks are pretty simple. Raw veggies and hummus work. You could do celery or apples and peanut butter. You could eat seed crackers and sauerkraut. For sweets, you don't have to skip out on those. I like to do chocolate hummus dipped strawberries. You could do forbidden sticky rice made with forbidden rice, mashed purple sweet potatoes, and a coconut cream drizzle. Let's talk beverages. I like to do a rose-infused coconut water. That's 2 cups of boiling water, 2 ounces of rose tea, honey, and 1 liter of coconut water. You could do this with lavender tea too. You could mix rose and lavender. Have this with some fresh spring water if you have a spring available to you, if you're lucky enough. Lunches, you could do zucchini noodles and cashew cheese sauce or Thai peanut veggie wrap. Dinner, you could be a little bit more romantic. Stuffed sweet potatoes with goat cheese, fresh figs, sage, toasted almonds, and cranberries. Maybe a warm bowl, brown rice, sweet potatoes, spinach, chickpea, soft-boiled egg, microgreens, and tahini. And then there's sashimi. Sashimi is meat in its purest form. It's raw fish, meant to be enjoyed without distraction. Consumption of sashimi is a mindful experience. Perfection and presentation and quality are prominent Japanese cultural values that are reflected in its cuisine. Let this be a lesson in gratitude. In Japan, it is customary to say "itadakimasu" before your meal, which translates to "I humbly receive." Might I remind you that gratitude sits between love and joy in the levels of consciousness chart. This emotion is an expanded flow state and borders on Tao territory. You can practice this by unplugging during meals and focus on being present in the moment. Your 75th marathon at the office can wait. If you're concerned about eating raw fish, there are 2 ways you can avoid contracting illnesses. First being order from a reputable sushi restaurant. This is the easiest choice, albeit more expensive. Do your research before you choose the restaurant to ensure no health codes have been violated recently, and review the ratings. Sushi chefs are experts in their craft and are subjected to years of training. You could also follow your butcher's instructions. Go to a butcher shop. Better to be safe than sorry, especially if you've never prepared your own raw fish before. Take notes. Most importantly, the fish must be sashimi grade. Worms belong in dirt, not your stomach. I would not recommend buying packaged sashimi grade fish from a meat department unless you really know what you're doing. Food is energy, and so are we. Choosing high vibrational nourishment isn't about perfection. It's about tuning into what lifts you up. The more light we consume, the more we radiate. Enlightenment, after all, might just start on your plate. Your food is your frequency. If this resonated, hit that like button to let me know you're hungry for more high vibrational content. What's one food that makes you feel alive when you eat it? Comment below. I'm always on the hunt for something different. Also, subscribe to Cinnamon and Jupiter on Substack, which is your new go-to space for abundant living, nourishment rituals, and grounded glow-ups. And if you want to be notified of more content coming from Cinnamon and Jupiter, don't forget to subscribe. Blessed be.